What are your thoughts on some of the technologies that are being used in learning these days, like gamification and virtual reality, video? What are your thoughts on them?
Gamification has been out there for a while. I think just the fact of trying to engage people and create a little competition around what it is that they're learning is a good thing. I think video certainly is evolving, and given smartphone technology and the ease of which to kind of look and play and watch video is that much easier, and also to be able to kind of chunk things down. So if you think about it, different people learn different ways. So the fact is, if you can do a little bit of reading, or sometimes people just see it in action. So I can talk all day long about how to effectively coach or offer insight or provide feedback to someone. But if you actually see a good example and you haven't really done it before, especially if it's your first time kind of around a particular skill, why not imprint the best model possible? Or why not have 5 or 6 different people model that skill? And then you can kind of say, well, my style's more like this person, and kind of see how they do it. Because it's not necessarily just a one-size-fits-all. And then that way, that video really helps with that approach. So video for sure. These short snippets, almost on demand, or the ability to call it up is always a value add. One of the things that we're doing at CommVault is when we do our leadership programs, we're either asking for leaders to teach, so that's a kind of a concept that we're trying to tie more into our programs, whether we'll have someone, say, in the building or invite someone down to frame the conversation, talk about the benefits of being able to effectively coach or provide feedback, or how they delegate assignments, or how they check in with people on the assignments and provide feedback. So that way, it's not us speaking, it's truly the manager or the leader who is speaking, and as a result, the buy-in is going to be that much greater. If we can't get them in person, we'll videotape. So we'll ask them to do some videotapes. And we tend to kind of go more with just a flip phone or nothing too fancy. Again, nowadays with iPhones and some of the technologies on smartphones, it's pretty good, and it'll pass for a classroom-based program. And we don't always have equipment around to be able to capture it on a formal basis. But that's good. It just shows that it's real and it can be done anywhere at any time. So video for sure. I believe the gaming piece is still evolving. I was a big SimCity kind of player from way back, and just love that ability to say, if I make a change over here, there's that kind of systems thinking to see what's that downstream effect going to have within the organization. So what effect, if I make the change here in the way I manage others, or the way I lead or train, or whatever it might be, what's the impact over here? And sometimes that's not always apparent. And so gaming typically is sometimes one-dimensional. So if I answer yes or no, I score something, my score increases. But I think more of that kind of dynamic building. So as I start to branch, or I start to move down a path, more of that branching technology is coming into play. And so as a result, I think that's going to be much more engaging when it comes to that. So gamification, the video pieces are certainly 2 pieces that I see kind of evolving in that space. I think virtual classroom is another one where that technology is building a little more, and you're seeing more uses of it. I know we're trying to do as much of it as possible. We can't always get, we're a very spread out organization. So oftentimes we're looking for a way to be able to invite, 20 or 30 people to a program, but we can't afford to always fly them in, or they're not always in one location. So trying to make that virtual environment as engaging as possible. So, having people raise hands, using video, using polling, asking questions, calling out people by name, having people, share their camera or share what it is that they're doing or model the skill, using breakout rooms in that process. Again, I think sometimes in a perfect world, everything works perfectly. In the reality, it sometimes can be a little clunky, especially if you have 30 or 40 people on a virtual call at once. Sometimes you put people into a breakout room and they never come back, or it takes a few minutes for them to kind of come back into the room based on some of the technologies. So in reality, there's always kind of this challenge that still exists. So I think technology continues to evolve. I think it's truly going to be seamless as we go forward. And when I say that, certainly high-end technologies are working perfectly, but I'm talking kind of the off-the-shelf, kind of the standard GoToMeetings, WebExes, things like that that we tend to use on a regular basis that can be a little bit more challenging.